Hello everyone, and welcome to another video of the MAPS channel. This is Philip, and today we go with another episode of the Medical Acupuncture series. And I will talk about some very important concepts of the Yin Yang Theory, which is one of the main ideas that lead the thought and diagnostics process in traditional Chinese medicine. And we start with this image, this classical image that people usually call the Yin Yang symbol. It represents the Taiji, which I will translate here as great pole or polarization. It is a great example of the saying that an image is worth 1,000 words, because in this image we can notice some, if not all, of the principles of which I will list today. It is important to know that everything in the world, all that exists, can be classified, sort of saying, as more yin or more yang. We have the following table as an example. Cold is yin and hot is yang. Slow is yin and fast is yang. For some other examples, like up, external and movement are yang, and down, internal and stillness are yin. Very well, having the understanding that everything is yin and yang, let's see some of the relationships that exist along this classification. I will talk about each one of these, starting with the concept of interdependence, then of mutual consumption, opposition, transmutation, and infinite divisibility. It is important to know that each literature brings its own way of naming or its own interpretation of the concept. And my aim here is to simplify and get a general understanding of the relations between yin and yang. Okay, so let's go. Starting with the concept of interdependence. It is the idea that you cannot have one without the other. There cannot be shadow without light, and there cannot be the tall without the short. One needs the other in order to exist, in a way to validate its own existence. Second, the mutual consumption. Let's take today as an example with high noon. At high noon, we have the hottest time of the day, but from there, it will only get colder. So, as daytime goes by, the yang time gets gradually consumed and the yin time grows. This background image sets ice as an example. As time goes by, ice melts into less cold water, which means that yin, or the ice, let's call it the yin water, gets gradually consumed, and yang water increases in the cup. Now, opposition. This dynamic harmony implies that there are constant conflicts and victories or defeats of yin and yang, leading to a temporary unbalanced situation in which one of the opposites will prevail. Let's say there's a storm, powering rain for a whole day. In this situation, yin prevails and there's water everywhere. But if after that a drought follows, then it will be the opposite. But this is always changing. We can see here that these concepts sometimes carry similarities between themselves. And my point here on this classification is to make it more didactic. The fourth is the transmutation or transformation concept. It is the idea that when something reaches its maximum, it might convert to its opposite. Like a Chinese wise man once said, from order comes chaos, and from chaos comes order. If there is not order yet, it's because there hasn't been enough chaos yet. But the example can also be physical, like the burning sensation that might come from a frostbite, or as can be seen in critical patients, which after getting very hot from a serious condition, might start to get cold extremities. And last but not least, the concept of infinite divisibility. It states that everything is relative. Even among the yin, there are those that are more yin or more yang. Let's take man and woman as an example. Men are considered to be yang in Chinese medicine, and woman yin. Extrovert people are yang, and introvert people are yin. So a man would be yang when compared to a woman, but an introvert man is more yin than an extrovert man, and so on. It also wouldn't be wrong to say that it all depends on the reference to which something is more yang or yin than the other. Now, coming back to our concepts, all of them can be seen in the Taiji. If there was no black, it would all be just a white circle. And as the black circle grows, the white one shrinks. Also, the white in this image is in the top, which is yang, and black is below, yin. And at each of its maximum, there is the beginning of the other, represented by the starting of the color as the tail of the droplet, let's put it that way, and also by the inner circle, depending on how we interpret that. And that inner circle also represents the fact that everything is relative, as there is yin inside the yang, and vice versa. A quick point here is to see yin and yang in the human body. Yang is represented by left, upper, dorsal, and medial regions, and yin is yang's opposite. Some ideas in Chinese medicine include the concept of treating the opposite. So in acupuncture, you could treat the left arm with a needle on the right arm, or a headache with a needle in the foot. Also, it's worth mentioning that all of these yin-yang interactions can also be observed in clinical cases, as I exemplified in the description of the transmutation principle. And maybe I can explore this theme again in a more practical clinical approach in the future. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Please leave any questions in the comments below, as I can go deeper in any of the concepts explained, or in any other doubt on the practical applications of the ideas presented. I'm also open to suggestions on other themes, so feel free to ask in the comment section. Thank you very much for the attention, and see you next time.